Look who's videoing you! I got you too! Let's go! Got the boys in the car, about to go drive around town and check out some sights.
I'm telling you, I've never had the feeling where I'm like, wow, is there oversaturation of apartments? Like they're really, like Austin,
the suburbs,
no joke, dude. I'm gonna pull up a CoStar report and I wanna see how many permits are pulled right now.
So Google built that big sailboat looking building right on the riverfront. I mean, it's prime. That's like 100-year real estate. Like that'll be around for forever. Legacy trophy asset, but they're not even filling it up anymore. So Google already has, see the G sign? Yes. They have no plans to like fill the new building apparently. Like yeah, what
do you mean?
Like they built this new office building, the sailboat one, but they already occupy a building behind it and they were gonna move their whole staff over to here, but they've kind of like delayed their plans or something. He told me they haven't.
Delayed or pulled out?
I don't know. No, they haven't pulled out because the building's built. They're probably gonna end up doing it. Dude, condo prices are holding.
Yes, but like
they're not moving, but they're holding their prices.
You can tell the buildings that are primo because they fucking hold and sell.
Well, like the independent, like what I was looking at, that was maybe like a 1.7 condo is now 1.5. Like it hasn't gone down that much, but also they're not selling as fast, right? They're really not moving.
Of inventory.
Yeah, there's inventory and they're not moving. Days on market's longer. See this on the map, 6th Street right here? Yeah. That whole thing they block off where it's kind of orange. Those whole 5 blocks every. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They block it off at night between like 9 and 2 a.m. And the comedy mothership's right up here too.
Nice.
So a lot of the comedy clubs are right here. This is called Dirty 6th Street. So this street, I mean, you're gonna see it. Like, see these house bars? This is what everything was like on this whole street 5 years ago. None of these skyscrapers were here. There's maybe 1 or 2 of them. But this used to be like 2 or 3 other house bars, and the houses, like these houses, like $10 million, dude. They would sell that lot, and they would just assemble it, at which point these people probably bought them for a couple $100,000 10, 15, 20 years ago, ran their bar, and then the zoning changed, and now they're building this shit.
You sell or would you hold?
Oh my God. Well, you can miss it. You can miss the train.
I'd be gone.
I would sell because think about it. If you're the one house left, and maybe they bought the one next to you, the one next to you.
Like this.
That one's for sale for like $10 million right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's something silly. And nobody will ever. Yeah, nobody will ever buy it.
Is it really?
It's for sale for a lot, but nobody will ever buy it. Yeah, I mean, because that's what I'm saying. If you missed selling out to a big development next door to you when they were willing to pay you several million for your house,
right?
And now they've built.
Oh yeah.
If your lot is now unbuildable, now you've lost all your value.
Right.
So you almost have to sell to the big developer at some point. Otherwise, like
right there.
Yeah. Otherwise, like your lot is now really it's not worth much because
taxes are probably fucking $100,000.
And your taxes go way into the roof. All right, so we'll start kind of exterior here. We, basically when we bought this, all these trees were overgrown, parking lot was old, not redone, it had a really old fence, the siding hadn't been done, old roof, I think I mentioned parking lot. So again, kind of along our business plan of we want to make this thing low maintenance and really nice. Obviously we're elevating the rent and the quality of the property. I kind of like to come in and do a lot of that stuff up front, and now I can hold this thing for 10, 15 years and not really have to worry about any of those things going bad and leaks, and because we got warranties now and a lot of that stuff. So one of the first things we did was the parking lot. I need to find out square footage of the parking lot. I think it's around 30,000 square feet of parking lot, maybe 25. And we spent on the parking lot $66,150, which I think was a pretty good quote. They basically did an overlay on almost all of it, and some of it they milled down. So when you look at parking lots, one of the big things, and what you always want to look at is the curbs, right? How high are you to the curbs? At this point, I've gone about as high as I can, that the next time if we wanted to redo the parking lot, let's say in 10 years, I'm gonna have to mill it down and then put a layer on. And then the cost to do that, normally it's gonna be, I don't wanna say double, but maybe another like 60, 70% of the cost, because they're gonna have to grind it down, maybe double. They have to grind it all down, pull it out, haul it away, and then they're gonna have to put the new layer on. So when you're looking at, can I do an overlay versus a mill down and overlay. Think about that cost. If the parking lot's like already up to the curb of the walkways, you can't really go over it again, right? And then if you keep going over and over, sometimes you get drainage issues and stuff like that. So you kind of have to watch out for how high you're going. But that's kind of a general cost. We spent about $260 a foot on the parking lot. We did the whole fence. It used to be like chain link. I wanted privacy, give it a nice look. So the entire fence was 39,200. Linear feet wise, I think the property is 100 by 400 feet. So if I do 400 times 2, that's so it's about 1,000 linear feet. 39,200 divided by 1,000 feet is about $40 a linear foot for the fence. So this will be the entry. Everybody's gonna have like a garage door opener type clicker to get in. Plus we'll have a keypad right on that stone. We're gonna put it there so they can punch in a code. We've got a little man door over there as a backup. You guys can see that little door where they can punch in a code and entry if you're like walking or biking. And then that's the exit. When they drive up, it'll have a sensor. So I think $6,500 for the equipment. I think it's gonna be another probably $8,000 to install that equipment. And then the gates themselves were probably, they had to custom fabricate them, install them, probably another $10,000. So I think the gate system itself, because there's 2 of them, it'll probably be about $25,000, $30,000 all in for the 2 gates. And then the fence, we spent about $40,000. So, about $60,000, $65,000 for fencing and gates. The roof, which is, you can see there's 1, 2, 3 roofs. And then over the studio in the back, there's a little flat roof portion. We spent $35,000 for the roof. The siding was $65,000. We kept all the lower siding. We power washed it, but then we actually went right over the old siding with this, which probably saved us about 15 grand having to do the demolition. We went right over the siding. We kind of did this design with these these thin vertical boards, the black trim around it, and then we painted it. So it's around $65,000 all in on doing that. So backyard. So this is a big part of the kind of the amenities. And I think if you guys saw that video before I showed you, it's just a grass field. So we kind of had to level it first, do some site work. I got a quote from a company that does like turnkey pickleball courts in town for about $45,000. I ended up, deciding to kind of just GC it myself and got a company to come out and put in a concrete slab for about $23,000. It was about $8 grand to paint it, which they actually messed it up because they did it in the cold. So I'm gonna have them redo a lot of the paint in about a month. Under 30 grand I did it when another company quoted me about 45. This installed was about 5 grand. That extra slab was probably 2,000. About $300-400 a table. About 500 for the grill. And then this turf's really expensive. They had to level it like perfectly flat. I think the material itself for here was like 13 grand installed. Everything with all the work is like probably 25 to 30 grand just for this piece right here. These shades were about 4 grand a pop. They weren't highly necessary, but we kind of have that blue theme you see from the sign to the court to this, and I kind of wanted something else and to do a little bit of shade back here. We're gonna actually fence in a dog park right here. So down this line right here, probably right at the thing and over. So we'll have just one fence like this and one fence like that. So it's about 50 feet of fence. That'll be like probably $2,500. That'll be a dog park. And then over here, we have some like lounge chairs we're gonna put under here, like this type of stuff, but I got some blue ones. And this will be like outdoor lounge. And then I'm gonna build some like outdoor gym equipment over there, some ropes, like squat racks. I've got the punching bags and pull-up racks, stuff like that. So this will be a little outdoor workout area for when it's not ungodly hot out here. This is probably about 75, 80K back here in this spot alone. So the flooring materials only is about $2,500. When you're doing apartment interiors, you really want to work with a company that's used to interior pricing. Like remember when we worked with Tom Ledesma, 100%. He would charge us like $30,000 because his main business is doing residential.
You look at each unit like a house.
Yeah, you look at each unit like a house and they're pricing us like they'd price a residential customer, which a residential customer doesn't do this for a living. They don't know what the materials cost and all this shit. So they quote them 40 grand to renovate something like this and they're like, oh, okay, we'll do it, right? Because they don't understand that it really shouldn't be that much, especially if I'm giving you 21 units. Right. You should be, you could buy the flooring in bulk, all that kind of stuff. Kitchen cabinets and hardware, $2,800 for materials. So most of the stuff, they gave me a line item for materials, and then they have a flat labor line item, which is about $7,700 for the labor for everything. Fixtures, $800. That includes the ceiling fans times 2 or times 3, kitchen light fixture. No, sorry, times 2, kitchen light fixture, Bathroom vanity, like the mirror, the towel holder, paper towel holder, the light in the closet, that's all $800. Changing out all the doors, which is 1, 2, 3 doors, $831, so that's about $275 a door. Bathroom cabinet, the vanity, $300. Kitchen plus bathroom countertop material, $1,200. That's actually a pretty good price. $250 for the nest. Backsplash, $600. We, as of 2 months ago, we launched our rent comps within the software. So obviously we can utilize that. We're gonna go through and let's look at some comps together. When we're talking about comps, there's a lot of things to take into account. We know the unit mix, the size of the units, number of beds and baths. The biggest things are general location. Being within a certain area obviously is one factor, but then the specific location I also think is really big. You know, this property that the subject property we're gonna pull up some comps for is in a really, I'd say, unique area. There's like a downtown right here, as you can see, and that's why I always do this street view on the map, because if you guys get used to looking at maps, I look at maps all the time, you can see certain commercial districts, right? So this is all like neighborhoods. You know, you can identify golf courses or cemetery, but then I can see certain areas like over here is like a downtown area, over here is a downtown area. This looks like a big commercial district. Obviously big downtown over here. We've got another like walkable downtown area over here. So I'm looking at like, what am I nearby? And when you're in maybe like a walkable, more infill area, which is a lot of the stuff that I like to buy, a lot of stuff that I buy with Steve is very infill and walkable. We target kind of these little downtown social districts because you know, you're going to achieve different rents than, let's say, if I'm just out in just general suburbia, right, where you're not really near any of that. It's not walkable. You're in more just neighborhood type areas. So I'm always looking at that, and I'll pull out and you can see the city. Now you can see even better like how the city's laid out and where the density is, right? The lighter areas are more dense. And so I'm kind of taking all that into account. Let's say this is an apartment building. It's kind of located on a main road. You get a lot of street traffic, a lot of drive-by traffic. I mean, depending on how busy that road is. I'm also taking that into account versus if I could find another example of a property that's maybe like this, right? I don't know if this is all one property or if this is separate. Maybe these are separate, but I'm driving on Palmer Road or Taylor South Road here, you know, I could maybe see some of these properties, but the ones that are tucked back further, I can't really see. I'm going to look at all that very differently, you know, just based in the same square mile, but this one's on the frontage right here, and this one is way tucked back in a neighborhood. I'm taking all that into account because drive-by traffic is huge. And that's why, like, for this property in particular, I've got 51st Street right here, which is a really busy road. So I get a lot of people that see the property. I leased a unit because I was walking around outside with Kylo, and this couple just pulls in, and they're like, "We just moved from California. We're here, you know, for a week, and we've got to lease something by the end of the week." And I was just, they happened to be there. I toured them a unit. They leased the unit the same day. So that would never happen if this property was like tucked away back in the neighborhood. This property in particular, I'm just going to use this as an example. And if anyone else has a deal that you are like looking at right now, we could also look at some more examples. But for this one, it's in like a downtown area. It's walkable. It's in a really good location. I bought this property in 2020 for dirt cheap. It was during COVID for like $65 a door. I think I bought it for $1,380,000, and it just appraised for 4.2, which is $210,000 a door. And I'm all into it for like 1.9 or something like that. So we were able to do a really good cash out. But what I did with this property, the rents were all like right around $1,000 when we bought it. Right now, my average I think is like $1,600 now. Comping the rents is a big part of it is kind of creating your business plan, right? Every property we look at, you could do, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, when Steve came here, he's like, wow, I didn't realize like all the stuff I was doing at this property. This property, if you guys saw it before, was just an absolute mess. Nobody told me to come in and like do all these things. You have to kind of have a little bit of like a creative vision. What do you want for the property? There were no comps for this property at the rents that I'm getting because all the other C-class renovated stuff, a 2 bedrooms maybe at like $1,600, $1,650. 1 bedrooms are like $1,250. I came in and I was like, I think my 1 bedrooms within 2 to 3 years could get $1,800, which is higher than any comp. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the Class A, which are maybe all, at 22 to 2,400 for a 1-bedroom, and their 2-bedrooms are all 3,000 plus. I'm like, I think I can get 2,200 for a 2-bedroom, and I just leased up there for 2,100. This one's leased for 1,900. His boys are moving in. I leased another 2-bedroom for 1,900. Our 1-bedrooms are all going for like 1,500, 1,600, but there were no comps. So I'm creating a new almost avenue and a new style of unit because I've elevated the property and added these amenities, and that's just kind of the creative vision I had for it. So
it's like that missing middle.
It's that missing middle piece, but not every property has the space to do it. But because I saw this land in the back, I saw the courtyard, it used to have a pool, I knew I could do something there. I just had this vision for the property and thought like, I could create something really cool here where I know I can get these higher rents than everybody else is getting. And again, typically you're going to look at comps and you're going to comp out property and see what can I get. You're going to maybe try not to go above other properties in the area, but if you guys find something where it makes sense to use that vision, like you can set the rates at really whatever you think you can get. You have to be realistic, right? I'm not going to ever be within probably $200 to $300 of any of the Class A stuff. So I need to be below that because I don't have the amenities, I don't have the high ceilings, I don't have all that stuff. So I'm just never going to compete with them. But I also know I can create something better than the other C-Class renovations in the area. And for the more cookie cutter type properties, your typical like value add, like again, I enjoy doing more of these kind of transformational projects, but there's a lot of merit to doing your more traditional like Maple Manor, where just a light renovation, bumping grinds. That's kind of what we're doing on this one in San Antonio I'm buying. So some projects you can get more creative with, others it's going to be just very basic, your typical bland business plan, go in, put a little bit into it, call them a premium unit, bump the rent $200 to $300, and obviously we're going to kind of price that in the equation. And so, but don't feel like you have to just stick to the mold again, because like this project is going to be an awesome income producer over time. But I kind of went out of the traditional box and was like, let me build out this great, crazy backyard and do all these cool amenities. We're building a sauna here, like all this stuff. And that's going to allow me to kind of hit these higher rents.